Hello, my dear ones. Oh, my God. We're in there talking about hot Krispy Kremes. Oh, it's like, no. Whole wheat? No. Oh, my God. That's like White Castles. Oh, my God. I had a rock and roll band in the 60s, and we played at the State Fair in Indiana. We came in second. We were good. I played the 12th string and the organ. And after we got done playing there, we were like hungry as heck. And I forget, our manager was like 300 pounds, 6'5", big guy. I think he had 15 or 20 of them. I'm going, what? I never heard of them before. Down where I'm from in Indiana, you don't have McDonald's or things like that. You know, you have to go to the bigger towns. Matter of fact, I remember when McDonald's first came to Indiana University, and everybody goes, oh my God, that had to be in the 50s or early 60s. Oh, that's a long time ago, isn't it? Holy crap. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well on those grape diets, not Krispy Kreme diets. Oh my God. Talk about bowel cloggers. Holy crap. No way. But I remember a funny little story. I was living in my van in the woods and traveling somewhere up in the mountains or something, and I got this craving for Twinkies. And I mean, I had a real bad craving. Now, I'm all fruit, or at least mostly all fruit. If anything, sprouts, alfalfa sprouts. I used to grow them a lot. I got this craving for a Twinkie, so I pulled into this convenience store and bought a package of Twinkies. And I'm looking at them, and I'm going, no way. You know, I don't care. I'm stronger than my cravings, right? Self-discipline. Threw them in the back. Middle of the night, I wake up. I'm thinking, where's those Twinkies? Where's those Twinkies, right? So I opened up the package of Twinkies. The first bite, I started expanding. My consciousness started expanding, and I'm going, what? Second bite, I started getting so high, I had an out-of-body experience eating a Twinkie. And it's like, what do you guys do to me? That was funny. I'll never forget that. It's like, what? You know, sometimes your masters play funny jokes on you, I think. Oh, man. Hey, Nora. Healing guidance, lifelong struggles, fully committed to detox. You know, this is why I do this, is for you guys, especially you young guys and gals who have suffered from day one. This is why you hear me also talking about, you know, new mothers and stuff, getting yourself healthy before you create a physical body for a soul to come in. Yeah, because the suffering that people go through is outrageous, and allopathy has no help, no understanding of that. They're lost in the world of diseases and pharmaceuticals and toxicity and crap like that. Your remedy is always found in the very nature that created your body. So it's you know, it's good to see you guys are turning your attention to getting yourselves well and rebuilding your genetic weaknesses. My name is Noor. I'm a 24-year-old Egyptian. Yeah. Matter of fact, what were we talking about Egypt here? Something cool. I forget what. We were just in a conversation about that. Born and raised in the U.S. of A., and I've been watching your videos since I was young. You're already young, man. To me, 24, you know, nice to be 24 again, man. But only recently did everything truly click for me. Yeah, sometimes things are too simple. You know, I try to make things as simple as possible, but don't make no mistake, I understand the complexities of it as well, as much as you can. There's a certain point where nobody understands nothing, honey. There's so many medical theories, even in anatomy and physiology, and in our class we try to talk about that. And I'm kind of a nut on that because there's so many theories. Even a big professor of anatomy and physiology, famous guy, admitted that even cell mitosis is a theory. So there's theories involved in everything, and so that's okay as long as you understand your basics. And your basics always rest on two pillars because you're in a world of duality, meaning there's two sides to everything. Because that creates differences, bodies, atoms, all these things like this, where out of two forces you create endless things of chemistry and magnetics and stuff like that. It's shocking sometimes to look at that. And the simplicity of it all leads into the complexity of it all. And it's like, holy moly, as simple as things are, it is as complex too. But if you try to understand the complex without the simplicity, you're lost in space. Because you have to understand the two pillars of life are yin and yang, positive and negative, male and female, acid and base, that sort of thing, electrons, protons, that sort of thing, where the duality of life creates magnetism, opposites, and things like that. So understanding the simplicity of it and moving into the human body or even any animal body, same thing. You got a bunch of cells and two systems of fluids, the blood system and the lymphatic system. And they're both very intricate. The lymphatic system is so mysterious, it's not even understood by only a few. You guys understand more about the lymphatic system, in my opinion, than anyone on earth. They're just still, and I see some of these famous nutritionists and stuff, and they still don't get it. So understanding the lymphatic system, at least what we can of it, and it's just a simple sewer system. It's an eliminated system of waste produced by cells. Without that, you collect waste produced by cells. No one wants to do that. You don't do it in the engine of your vehicle. You don't want to produce and hold waste anywhere. Factories discharge waste into the air. That's why the whole thing of, acid air and acid rain, that sort of thing, pollution, so to speak. Horrible. So you always want to keep it simple, the foundation of things simple, and then build on it. Always use that as your checkpoint when you ask your questions why. Or what are you going to see if things are acidic? What are you going to see if things are alkaline? That sort of thing. I've been 100% raw on fruits for 6 months. Yeah. That's cool, man. And counting. Fully committed to healing. Good man. I'm dealing with chronic Candida, constant diarrhea, severe dehydration. I can see that. Stage 1 kidney weakness. Yeah. Thinning hair, dry skin, nerve rings all over my irises. Oh, man. Holy moly, and terrible prostate pain that can be almost agonizing. That sucks. Oh, man, Mr. Prostate. Holy Lord. So let me say that your kidney and adrenal glands are your big starting point, of course. Your kidney failure is why you see the dry skin, why you see everything you see in the body. Because without stagnation of a system, everything's moving, all parts in an engine run well, as everything is greased and oiled well, everything's moving well, as long as the blood is moving well, and it's an alkaline slurry, everything is doing well. When you compromise the blood by eating foods that are acid-forming, then you're eating foods that compromise the pH of the blood. And pH is everything, and you can play with those pHs. I try to show you that, just looking at these pHs, because, just understanding at 5.5, you lose your enamel of your teeth. And when you look at estrogen and testosterone, they're just a little above that. So the body can't, it produces minor acids for stimulation, fluid, and things like this, but anything below minor acids are detrimental to the functionability of cells and creates dehydration, coagulation, and the like. But anytime you see the body producing a minor acid, it produces its counterpart. Like estrogen and testosterone have progesterone as its counter. So when you see a woman menstruating, you see an estrogenic experience, an acid experience, right? But then what happens after estrogen gets everything bleeding and everything moving, then you must bring in progesterone. Same thing when you conceive and have a child, the placenta becomes mainly progesterone. And then, of course, out there, doctors are telling women to eat their placenta, you know. And again, you're playing with steroids and hormones to counterbalance what you think is a problem. And that throws everything off even more. But anything alkaline is healing and antacid. Why do you think the placenta becomes mainly progesterone for? To keep acids from damaging the fetus. Heck yeah. Acids are corrosive, period, end of story. And the further down that pH scale, the more corrosive you get, brother. You know, it's like this young man with prostate and maybe even bladder. Cokes, pHs are 2.5. Anytime you're playing with the 2.5 to 4 range, you're going to burn. And for a while, you don't feel it because of the lipid nature of the lymphatic system. But after a while, dehydration, you start feeling the acid burns. Women feel them on the vaginal wall. It affects all kinds of problems in people. And some people just feel burning inside of them. And that's exactly what's going on. They're getting burnt. And not from high alkalis, from acids. You know, high alkalis will burn. Of course it will. Bleach, things like this. But we're not talking about that level. The body doesn't produce that level of alkalis per se. You know, the spin-off on all these cycles are acids, not alkalis. At least mostly. So you look to your kidneys as the problem. That's why I'm heavy into kidney filtration. Had I not lived in the woods and peed in jars and saw filtration in it, I wouldn't have a clue. We probably wouldn't even still understand the lymphatic system today because I don't know of anybody that's taught this previous to us. It wasn't out there. I've been to a lot of schools, a lot of different schools. I've probably been to 6 different herbal schools, a couple of naturopathic schools. I've been to a lot of schools. I've enrolled in homeopathy schools and naturopathy schools. But the remedy to the prostate pain, the dry skin, and all that is get your kidneys filtering. Your ingestion is doing good. You're all on fruits, anything that has high electrons, and that's going to be your fruits, your berries, your melons, and your vegetables. However, with your fruits, you're going to hydrate faster. You're going to turn on and fix those nerve rings. Remember, because vegetables are not neural foods. No, and anybody that's been in clinical practice any length of time and worked on quads, paraplegics, MS, Lou Gehrig's like I have, Parkinson's, that's in your face, especially if you understand fruit and you're using fruit. It's in your face that vegetables are a no-brainer neurologically, even though Yale says, you know, the body converts glucose to fructose. It's still not good enough to regenerate neurologically. I've had very poor experiences regenerating neurologically on vegetables. Bone, sure, easy. And we got a good quad case up on Dr. Morse's .tv to show you that. He regenerated his scoliosis, his fractured leg, healed at a 20-some degree angle, pulled itself straight after years of being bit and healed at that level. I mean, but that was on vegetable matter, mostly. There was fruit matter in his life as well, and botanicals. But when you get all on fruit and you try to apply that, his neurological improvement, I'll say, was minimal. There was some, but minimal, compared to the same quad. Well, he was a C4, C5, I think. I had a C3, C4, and that's close to Superman, and she just, it was amazing. She got nerve regeneration. I had her on nothing but fruit for 11 months. And then I could touch her. I said, where am I touching? She said, my third toe. I said, give me a leg lift. We have her on there, although we went and filmed this cold. But I tell you, that was such an amazing story. But the road to get there was a nightmare. She went through emotional things because she was in a head-on car crash that killed the other guy. And boy, whew-wee. I mean, it was, the detox symptoms was radical. She would cry 1 minute and cuss me the next minute and laugh the next minute, and that was one of my hardest cases. Whew, I still remember that one. Man, that was rough. But she made it to the point of being able to shake your hand, do leg lifts, and she went from completely. She was so bad. She had a lever on her wheelchair. She moved her wheelchair with her tongue. Horrible. That's why I do this. Whew. Help people overcome their karmas, It's a good feeling to do that. Thinning of hair, of course, that's all acid. Acid breaks down hair follicles, no question about it. That's why you see Bruce Willis, frontal lobe dementia. When you're balding, that's why when you come in here and you're balding, I'm going, hey, no, we got to get some hair going here because you're acidic up in the scalp. Well, there's the brain down below, so to speak, and nothing good comes of that. Dementia, Alzheimer's. Dry skin is dehydration. That's acidosis. And your body is. So with that in mind, I don't see your height or anything here. It's enough to say that your parathyroid might be down and thyroid might be down as well, not giving you a body temperature enough to sweat. So you want to look at that as well. Constant diarrhea. You could be highly inflamed, very spastic in the GI tract. And so, again, that is increasing neurological strength, also removing acidosis. And remember, we talk a lot about how, for some reason, the GI tract is just a coagulation hub for the lymphatic system. And so, when you look at enough irises, it's always that around the pupil thing that pulls you right into this. And it's like, whoa, like a mandala, whatever they call that. Candida is just a byproduct, of course, of adrenals, always. And then, of course, too much complex sugars like sucrose and maltose, dextrose, those sort of sugars, grain sugars, that sort of thing. I mean, you can see a horse founder on those things. But the nerve rings, that's serious. That's autonomic nervous system, and that goes right to your adrenals, where your adrenals are on top of the kidneys, and your kidneys remove kinetic waste in the body. All your cellular waste have to get out. You can't sit there and recirculate them, medical doctors. That's stupid. You got to remove the unwanted. And acids, believe me, are the unwanted, unless you're in the minor acids. It's nice to have a little testosterone, a little estrogen, absolutely. Without a little estrogen, women have vaginal dryness. So you can use the Candida formulas. We've got Parasite M, and then on the hot side, we've got Fungal Balance. That's on the handcrafted side. That's hot, but it's pulling them out of people's skin like crazy, moles falling off and stuff like that. You might have to be on something like that for like 6 months or something like that, but you want to be on a kidney formula, at least one, because you want to heal those kidneys, no question about it. And the prostate is a victim of that. And as a young man, you want to have a good prostate, right? Right. You don't want to have any problems there. And there's testicular cancers, there's all kinds of things out there, meaning that you carry acids too long in the prostate or anywhere, doesn't matter where, you're going to break down cells. And then the medical doctor is going to go, let me take a biopsy, punch, 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 punch. Oh, we found a cancer cell in here. Well, hello. That cell's being degraded and chewed on. All right, fix the lymphatic system. Oh no, we're going to give you more acids. Or we're going to radiate you. And everybody knows radiation causes cancer. What? I must have not went to school or, I don't know, went to common sense class or something. So, and terrible prostate pain. That can't, okay. I can't sweat. Okay, so that's thyroid. That's thyroid for sure. So now, are you short, tall? I mean, take a look and see if you have a pituitary, because you obviously know how to read your eyes. Good man. See what's going on there, because you want to work on you want to take the endocrine gland formula, and I double dip that one. Thyroid, if it's too cold, check your basal temperatures under your arm with a thermometer before you get out of bed in the morning. If you're down in the 95s or low 96s, you could take like a 20 milligram thyroid glandular. And that would also submit to you that you have a parathyroid issue as well. And at 24, no way, Jose. Your life won't be happy. It sounds like it probably isn't right now. You're fighting. So you're doing good focusing on these things, because you're only 24 and you have a laundry list of problems. Can you imagine, like Guy we talked about on the video yesterday? Did I do a video yesterday? I think I did. But look at all that he has with the parathyroid. Aortic aneurysm already. He's got a whole host of problems that are life-threatening. And that's where you don't want to be young and have these things. When we can teach you how to guide your body down the road to Wellville. Mm-hmm. I can't sweat. My balance is poor. Suggesting here, right? Suggesting back and neck. Okay, and I often struggle to breathe. Well, okay, so when you struggle to breathe, remember the pulse line here. Hold it until your pulse increases and you'll feel your body take a deep breath. But that's your adrenal glands, and that's why if you're diagnosed with asthma or any COPD, it's always a neurological problem on top of congestion, okay, but always neurological, and hard to take a deep breath and that sort of thing. That's neurological, and that's serious. And when you observed all these nerve rings in your eyes, there's your clue right there. And for us, we got to fix this. So your adrenal glands are essential. You might want to take a 400 milligram adrenal glandular on top of the adrenal formula. I mean, when you're that low, you got to kick it in the butt. And there's only a few things that really kick it. Licorice root might be helpful, because that increases systolic, because this will bring you into real low blood pressure. And as the kidneys fail, it'll switch and go to high blood pressure. Mentally, I face deep anxiety. Of course, you must have real chronic adrenal, son. So that's a real important place to work on. You got licorice root, you got glandulars, you got all the herbs that we use for the endocrinology of the body. Even your Siberian ginseng is good for the adrenal glands. But you got to get the kidneys fixed too, because you've got to be able to filter, because the adrenal glands is another victim of kidney lack of filtration. You can get an adrenal gland tumor from that. All these things like that. Paranoia and the feeling that someone is always out to get me. My mind has often felt like my enemy. It's funny you say that, because in a way, your mind can be your enemy. See, so your mind can be your enemy. You're not your mind. So sometimes it helps you to pull back spiritually and get beyond thought. And that just takes a sense of observation, practicing observation as opposed to thought. Important. I used, be here now. I used to ring that old Ram Dass thing, be here now, be here now. As soon as my mind would start thinking, be here now, be here now. Little techniques you can use to develop your ability to be here now and to get beyond that thought domination. Because as you come into creation, you're taught to use the mind exclusively. And that's where the I got lost comes in. Who am I really comes in, right? But as you strengthen yourself, I would also do nerve power. Nerve power or brain and nerve. I've got two lines, the original line and the new handcrafted line. The nerve power, a lot of people are using that, saying it's pretty dang good. So these are tonics as well, and this will strengthen up your neurological system, but you've got to have neurotransmitter production as well, so that comes out of your adrenal glands. And all of that implies, but if you're having some equilibrium problems, we got to be careful that your central nervous system doesn't get impacted too much, because you're only 24 years old. That's your hard drive, Very difficult to live in creation in the now. Believe it or not, the mind, the emotion, these are all like anchors of support, because when you're in the now, there's no points of identification. And in creation, they're needed because you're an embodied. I'll give you an example. I was walking in the mall one day, looking at all the colors, being in the now, walked out, didn't know where I parked, didn't know whether I drove my truck or how did I get there. I was so much in the now, it freaked me out. And then, of course, if you're living in the now, you can drive to your house from work or wherever, and every day that drive is totally new. Everything is new. You've never seen it before. There's a McDonald's. Oh, I've never seen it before, and yet you pass it every day. It's because the now does not have memory tied to it. It's it's beyond that, and it's like intense, extremely intense, and a very intense sense of aloneness, not loneliness, of aloneness, like you're the only one that exists, and it's an extremely powerful experience. But to navigate in creation at these levels are very difficult. Most of the masters I know, including Sai Baba, can't do it. You can't live at these levels and function without somebody washing your butt and everything else. And that's unacceptable. You're an individual entity, no matter how high you get. Whatever level of mastership you are, you have full responsibility for your own actions. You don't have people taking care of you. Just saying. I was diagnosed with one of the worst cases of ADHD. And again, I say all this, and sometimes I forget in the back of my mind, the medical profession went literally nuts over vaccines. You still see people fighting in Congress over vaccines, and they don't have a clue, and they're fighting over vaccines. Like, really? How stupid. I wish Dr. Tenpenny would get in front of Congress, but you have to keep some civil tongues there. These people are getting bizarre, and I can't believe that the committee chairmen don't shut these people up. You don't need to holler and yell at people. Just like they did the Patel. You don't have to holler and yell at people. That shows you're uncool, that you don't have your shit together, that you don't know jack doo-doo. If you know what you're talking about, you don't need to yell. You don't need to belittle others, because you know, and you're grounded in your knowingness. It's those that live in fear and unconsciousness that yell at others and belittle others. Like, you don't have to do that. That's karma producing. But this brings back neurotoxicity, whether aluminum, mercury, thimerosal, a mercury-based preservative, really. These sort of things people are dealing with. And so, plus maybe heavy metal toxicity, but neurotoxicity is a big factor in vaccines. I mean, if truth was told and all the stats were exposed, people would be super shocked at how many kids have died, how many kids have got ADD, ADHD from vaccines. I've had plenty. We should still have that one on site, but we'll see, Marco. I'm not sure that we do, where the pediatrician got in his car somewhere, I think up in New York or somewhere, and it was during the COVID, and he was, being censored. But he was saying that he's a long-time pediatrician, and his kids have no problems until they're vaccinated. Doctors that care like that, even medical doctors that care like that, they observe, they see, they know. It's only the blind ones that don't pay any attention, that don't care. It's obvious. They had a big court case over that, and of course pharmaceuticals could afford big ass attorneys and control judges and stuff, and so there was supposedly no relationship between vaccines. I don't know, wasn't this a case in Texas one time or something? Can't remember, but it's like, really? Yeah. In special education, due to my struggles in school, doctors told me the Candida on my tongue was normal. Oh! I love those guys. Not really. And that IBS happens to everyone sometimes. You know why? When you have doctors, and I don't care if it's a naturopathic doctor, tell you stuff like that, they're dum-dums. They literally don't know their you-know-what from a hole in the ground. That's all they can say. And this is also true when you get into oncology stuff. It's your autoimmune problem. Really? What does that mean, autoimmune? And what is your immune system, Mr. Medical Doctor? You have any idea? Holy crap. You guys know so much more than that, it's staggering. Jeez, criminy. None of this is normal, but your tongue coating is not just fungal. It also relates to why the IBS, because the more coated your tongue gets, you got tongue ring cleaners, forks or whatever that clean your tongue. It's like, really? Matter of fact, when you go on a detox, that used to be how you got out, how we stopped generally water fasting. This was more in the natural hygienic people. They would wait till your tongue turned pink to stop you from water fasting, because as soon as you go on a water fast or any type of fast, how toxic your tongue looks is how toxic your bowels are. And I've had people have black tongues. So you can imagine what their gut looks like. Your tongue is just an extension of your bowels. All part of the same system, I hate to tell you. But that tongue and the coating can get green, brown, all of that stuff. And it's like, no. And that shows you how bad your gut is. So it's not only just a reflection of Candida, it's a reflection of the level of lymphatic stagnation. Chronic is brown to black. Degenerative, you're going to see black stuff. Matter of fact, how many cases have we talked about where I've detoxified them? And this one case in particular, the stomach cancer case, some biker guy out of New York owned a biker repair shop here, and the editor of the local newspaper brought him in to see me, diagnosed from Moffitt with stomach cancer and this stuff. Well, on his 53rd day, he's on just grapes, he slumped to the bathroom floor, throwing up black matter and black oozing out his butt. I've had black oozing out of the butt of 2-year-olds. Where does that come from? I've had people coughing up black stuff out of their lungs, not necessarily tar. So it's like, whoa. And so these levels of toxicity are very deep within the human being, and you're going to see, the destruction of tissue at these levels for sure. Even when you have a green coated tongue, that's not pretty. And you can have body odor like crazy from it. I mean, the stench inside of humans is pretty bad. What the heck? Okay. Sorry about that. So we got to look at that, and that just tells me why, the IBS type stuff, But just to remember, all this is all acidosis. This is all lymphatic stagnation. And you can open up that by hydrating. And of course, you're already admitting you're dehydrated, Nor. So I also quit smoking. Well, that's a big dehydrator. Holy crap. I mean, there's nothing more dehydrating than smoking. And there's nothing more that hits the prostate, bladder, and kidneys than smoking, because you're not buffering it through bicarbonate and the like. You're pulling it right through the lungs, right into the bloodstream. So whether it's the weed, whether it's cigarettes, it doesn't matter what you smoke. It can be natural herbs. Of course, the weed is a natural herb, I guess. But there's this thing about in herbology where you smoke mullein to help the inflammation of the lungs. I'm going, no. But there's a lot of quirky things like that out there, because whatever you burn becomes acidic. And those acids go right into your bloodstream and bam, hit your kidney and bladder like crazy. And drinking, thanks to your protocol, getting off of cigarettes was surprisingly easier on fruit than it ever was while I was eating meat. I know fruit, it just takes you to another level, don't it? It just takes you to just a whole nother level. I can't even describe it. You guys experience it yourself. It just takes you to a whole nother level. When you get in trouble, pull yourself back on fruit. And there you go again. You can just feel the difference. I love it. It's just so cool. But it's proofs in the pudding, you know. I'm not giving up on this path. Do not, nor. All right? But I'm asking you for help. Okay. I would mean the world to me. In my case, could be featured on one of your Rumble Q&A videos for guidance and direction. Thank you so much. This is Nor. Oh, yeah, Nor. Take a look at these nerve rings. Oh, my God. Look at them. Well, Nora, you definitely have brown eyes, but you have light brown eyes. Your brown of your eye is the color under these nerve rings, light brown. So all the differences of brown is the levels of lymph stagnation. And oh my, yeah. We have pituitary, chronic pituitary. You've got radius solaris going in the back of your left side here like crazy. Left ear, cerebellum, mastoid. So yeah, you've got to cut that. That's totally genetic. It goes right down to your bowel wall. You don't have a lot of prolapsing of the splenic flexure, slight, which is good. Looking over here in the thyroid, parathyroid, hard to see. The light is right there. There is a bowel weakness at that level, though. Your left leg is very weak. Definitely chronic adrenal glands, no question. Some chronic kidney on that left side as well. A little bit on that hip as well, so be careful there. Very difficult to see that right eye. Keep in mind, guys, keep the camera closer. Get them up close, and that'll be very helpful for me to read them. You have a skin ring. So that does show why your skin is dry and dehydrated, and you go right to your thyroid. Now, I can't see a real heavy thyroid weakness here. I can't see the right eye well, but with that said, your pituitary's down, and that can slam the thyroid and the parathyroid and the adrenals and. But you have chronic adrenals on top of the pituitary weakness. So yeah. Yeah, you got a lot of nerve rings and stuff like that in there, but you don't have a lot of genetic weaknesses that I can see. Maybe a little spleen, we'll see. But a little pancreatic as far as I can tell. Just can't see much on the right side there, my friend. But, all right, so where you want to go? You're always going to go, number one, diet. You're already doing that. You already got that down, right? So what's number two? Your lymphatic system. So that includes kidneys, the adrenal glands, the lymph fluids, right? And that'll pick up the spleen as well. And then your gallbladder is a lymphoid organ as well. So that'll pick those up. But a liver gallbladder formula is always nice for a little while. But at least a kidney formula or two, a lymphatic formula. You want an endocrine gland formula and double dip on that mother. And this is a case when you see nerve rings like that, add nerve power or brain and nerve. Give yourself some power there to strengthen that up so you can breathe better and all of that. Remember the fingers on the pulse line. Feel that pulse. You want a strong pulse there. And when you're weak like that, it'll feel threaded and low and stuff like that. Again, licorice root can be added. Glandulars can be added. If you notice your fingernails are weak, you notice you're having fracture issues or skeletal issues, think about your parathyroid gland and a parathyroid glandular. But I haven't seen anything that you mentioned toward that other than thyroid and you can't sweat. Right? And that could totally just be a pituitary problem, because I don't see a lot of genetics all over the place, which is a good thing. So you really have to look at the endocrinology of the body. You definitely want a bowel formula. So I do stomach and bowel, number 1. We have a 0 for those that have diarrhea all the time. But that should fix that up pretty easily. But do go back to the bowel formula for diarrhea and take that one. You don't need any movement power. But again, these bowel formulas are for restoration of the tissues of the bowel, cleaning them, enhancing the function of. All those have a little pancreatic, hepatic herbs as well. So they're for cleaning and strengthening. They're not so much for moving. But I had to add movement power, because if you're constipated and you don't move your bowels for a week, or like some ladies don't move them for 30 days, oh no. You want a bowel movement every day, if not 2 of them. Ideally, you'll have a bowel movement about an hour after you eat if you're all raw. But, 2 a day, okay. But this 1 a day, a lot of people have 1 a day. You can live with that. But if you haven't missed every other day, every 3 days, unacceptable. Then you get putrefaction, which is bacterium, and you get fermentation, which is fungal. So you have both of these creatures helping you then, and, they can, it's not their fault. And that's kind of where I would go with that, This is Monica, female, Poland, 40 years young, Poland. Oh, sweetheart. Oh, honey, 5'2", eyes are blue, 5'2", honey. Because immediately, again, I don't care where you're from, pituitary. And when the female has pituitary, that's just more problems. That's not fun. Overview, angels, golden light, and true master. Ooh. Now you're clicking down my road. Hello, Dr. Morse. I would like to ask you what your thought about angels. You're not one? You're one too, sweetie. Or you wouldn't ask about them. What's an angel? What's a master? When I've talked to every level of master that you can think of, and the reason, when you look at the spiritual beings, their love of the ultimate, different masters have different views. Because you're dubbed a master doesn't mean you know it all. That's why that master word, I kind of like this. When they say you're a master herbalist, I go, no. There might be some old Chinese guys you might call master herbalists, but, to be a master at something, I don't know. You know what I mean? But the love of God, the love for God, even though the higher the master, the more they know there's no differentiation between themselves and the ultimate. But it's their 100% dedication. They're total God people. I've always said, I'm a God man because that's the only thing that matters in my world. I don't care about anything else. Are you kidding? Go out sailing, go out fishing, go out hunting. Come on, man. When you're playing in the worlds of consciousness, it's unbelievable. And a true master, of course, is going to be one that can help you awaken. They're going to help you move through your Akashic records and clean that up. These beings are there. It's like Phoebe Quantz, one of the great Ek masters. I used to say, I used to give a lecture, and he would appear right here, start talking to me. I'm going, oh, crap. I don't know if anybody in the audience would see him, but boy, I did, and I'd have to listen. At the same time, I'd have to talk. Sometimes you never know. Some of you have seen the two that's been following me around a while. Kind of big. Yeah. I heard them. But, there's a place that I'll just share some things. There's a place that I love, and I generally station myself, and it's way out of creation. But there we drum up the white robes and the golden. It's white and gold. This is why you see on my new book coming out, it's going to be white and gold. The book on fruitarian, it's going to be a little different than what you've seen. There's certain levels that are just nirvanic. And it's all in the advent of helping creation move and work itself, and to help beings like you guys are helping others with their health. And a lot of you are helping others with their spirituality. I like to consider myself an inner and outer master. I like to help you on the outer, and I like to help you on the inner. But I do whatever they want me to do, and I don't know what that is ever, because I'm just totally try to live in the now. You never know. Sometimes you're doing a lot more than you'll ever know. I remember the first time I became aware of it, I had health food stores, and I just come out of the woods, and I was buzzing. You come up to talk to me, you'd feel like you're having an out-of-body experience, but I was half out of the body anyway. One lady came in, she said, who are you? I said, I don't know. And she said, I was juicing some carrots, and she said, my juicer broke. And she said, you appeared, and my juicer started up, and you disappeared. And I'm going, I don't remember that. So a lot of you are a lot more, all of you are a lot more than you realize. It's where is your attention? And is your attention too directed? You guys are so much more than you can even imagine. Amazing, But our attention is so focused into the world of creation. And when you unfocus that, and that's what masters are, they unfocus that. They lose the desireless state. Like Buddha, they become desireless. They don't have a need for things. If you look at the Shaolin master and you watch Kung Fu, and the little Cain said to the master, so you don't have any desires? And he goes, I have but one. And he goes, and it was to be at a certain place at a certain time. When that fast forwarded, you saw why. But young Cain says, well, that's not much of a desire. He says it's a desire nonetheless. When you're talking about that level, of detachment, it's a buzz that you cannot comprehend. It's a oneness that you can't comprehend. It pulls me with each and every one of you guys and makes us one. It's difficult to understand that. I see angels all over the place. And there's all levels. And there's all levels of little beings. Gnomes, demons, there's all levels of beings that are involved in working creation that you can't see. Well, a lot of you can't, but some of you can. Look at Findhorn's a great example of that. If you ever heard of Findhorn, this lady's spiritual guide told her to go to Findhorn, isn't it Scotland or something, and then open up, start planting gardens and stuff. Now there's a university there, and there's all kinds of things because there's all kinds of little beings. But, their cabbages are this big, and their carrots are like this, and it's amazing. I never got there, but I talked to people that went there. It's amazing the communication you could have with beings that are not in their physical embodiments, And you see that now. You see a lot of that going on here. And if you look, you'll see presence of beings around you, But I consider each and every one of you an angel, right? But have you ever met them? Have I ever? I saw an angel during my first out-of-body experience. Yeah, that's cool, huh? But I read in one book that probably it was only my mind. Yeah. You know, you got your two sides. Here's your angel and here's your devil, so to speak. You know, duality, right? Duality. And, excuse me. Here's an angel. See? Comes in all shapes and sizes and colors. Right? Mm-hmm. But you have those that want to tear down. If you've never had an out-of-body experience, you cannot write about it or judge it. And that's what gets me. You got so many people with opinions. It's like, really? An opinion about something you've never experienced? Dum-dum. Yeah. And you never want that to tear you down because there's always that side trying to tear you down. Oh, no, stay here. Look at this. Don't you want this? You know, there's always that sort of thing. And you have to go talk to the hand. The face isn't listening. Right? Right. You know, if you want to have out-of-body experiences, you can't have your attention focused on anything. What do you think meditation's for? You know, and it's really a lot more than people give it for. I'm using TM to relax and all this stuff. Cool. But if you're shutting down your outside senses so you can direct your attention away from your body, that makes more sense. Or if you don't want to travel and you want the highest experience, you're pulling yourself into the extreme now. And it's beyond traveling. It's cool stuff. But you always have the naysayers and all of that, of course. But of course, darling. Angel, but some bad entity only looking like angels. Okay? So there are entities out there. You're an entity. I'm an entity. There's entities all over the place. Just because some have physical bodies, some are in their astral bodies. That's why you have to power up. And I tried to teach you guys, how do you power up? And your mind is not how you power up. You have powers you don't know until you need them. But the more in the now you are, the more you have the greatest power of all powers, and that is the power of the all. And nothing, not a reptilian, nothing can penetrate that. And you can put the golden light around you, you know, that light tends to be golden. I remember I had some friends over and our house was raining inside with nothing but golden raindrops. It was wild. You know, power up. Someone comes into your space and you don't want them in your space, what do you tell them? Get out. And I don't care who it is and how powerful they think they are. When you pull into the now, nothing is more powerful than that. I moved into a house on the beach once. So many entities. Holy crap. Did I ever learn to power up? Oh, holy crap. The hair was always up on the back of my neck. At least till I learned. But you don't have anybody tear your experiences away from you. That they're there to do it. But if you go out of the body, do not fear that. That's why I always try to tell you about the Ek Masters. They're, to me, the most powerful beings of mastership on the planet. They have the most awareness, in my opinion. And I'm familiar with the Radha Swamis, and I'm familiar with all the different levels of yogas, systems, and stuff like that. But and the Ascended Masters, Saint Germain, although very familiar with all those guys. But the Ek Masters are way out there and very powerful. But you too are the same. These are only beings that surrendered, and they are the living essence of it. It's themselves. They're not, you know, when you see them, you see God. And you're getting me. Woo-wee. My experience was very real and a little different because I was only the watcher. You are always anyway. That's a very high experience, dear one. You are always just the watcher. It's the mind that plays the monkey game. It's the bodies that play the games. And certain masters, they master different levels. Yep. But when you become the watcher, you are in total consciousness. And you can watch things go on or whatever. But then you can also lose that and become the traveler, slip down and, and travel in your bodies. The being that was watching myself where I was drowned under the water, and white angel came to me, gave me a hand, and pulled me out of the water. There you go. And you can pull yourself out of the water because that wasn't you. That was an image. That was mental images. Does it mean that the angel is helping me? Well, sure. And you could have been your own angel. Just saying. But a lot of beings help. So, you always open that love up to all life like that. Or some guru says that it means that you are connecting with your higher self, and this is just the beginning of awakening. Well, excuse me, you're choking me up. I've said this many times. When you are working from the viewpoint of your higher you, and then you have a higher self, you're lost. You are your higher self. You are. There is nothing more or less than you, no matter what. No matter where you go, no matter what your perception is, you can perceive yourself as a surfer boy or girl surfing on the water, or you can see yourself as a master in the astral world, or you can see yourself as an angel. You can see yourself any way you want to see yourself. That's part of the way creation is, and the more awake you become, the more you get to play whatever you want to play, but the more you become the helper. Now, some actually become the creative dreamer, and the worlds of the dreams expand. I mean, the whole idea is you become the dreamer itself, but a lot of beings are there to help. And whether it was someone there to help you or whether it was you helping yourself, who cares? Because it's all about you in the first place. It's all about the watcher, the knower, not the watchee. That's the game. Creation is the game of the watcher watching the game. You're just pulled back and had the experience of the watcher. There's nothing any higher than the now. There's levels of the now, but you can't exist in some of these and be here, even in the now. They're just, I've said this to you before, how now can you get? But you have to be careful because you won't be able to come back here. And it'll stop you. But when a guru says that, that's just a guru, right? Not a true master. What is the golden light? What do you think? See, if you think, then, you are the golden light. And it's just the energy of duality before it's even duality, the power of consciousness. Is it for protection? You can use it for that, absolutely can. I remember the first time I saw a reptilian, my wife was having a conversation with the guy that he was living in. And they were talking spiritually, and he disagreed with my wife. And she's very much awake. And so this reptilian came out. And as soon as she saw that, she just put the golden light around her. It looked over at me, and I was looking at them. And at that, he retreated right in. And it was like, this know who you are, know you're protected, because you are the all. It's hard to really get to that unless you've had these kind of experiences. The mind cannot perceive beyond itself. It cannot perceive that which is the all, which is totality, because the mind is not totality. at a certain level it might think it is. But what does it mean if you see the golden light? Well, I will say that you're still probably the student learning. There's levels that you can go into in some of these higher worlds that you move into that light, and that's how you learn. Suddenly, the light fills you with the awareness of it. Like reading a book, the light teaches you. But then you're trying to become the light itself, aren't you? See, separation is creation at the finest level you can even perceive and experience, cosmic consciousness. One of the highest forms of awareness before you lose the individual self. That and the etheric. That's the id. That is the individualized self. After that, there's nothing but the one. An intense, alone state, because there's no two there. It's only the one. And you've got to be able to handle that level of aloneness. It's intense. I still have my own bedroom. I still have an intense sense of aloneness. I've tried to balance that so I can function, but and have a relationship, because you change dramatically. That's all I can say. I saw the golden light during another out-of-body experience, but this time it happened during a dream state. Golden light came to me through open door to my bedroom. Come become the golden light, my dear. Maybe this happened because last few years my soul was living in the darkness due to guru I was listening to. Possible. Matter of fact, if you were following a true master, you wouldn't be saying my soul, because you are the soul. But the soul is an individualized self. You're so much more than that. You are the all. The same day I decided that I no longer want to follow him. But that's how things happen, you know. There's a lot of black magicians out there. There's a lot of things that are dark like that. Look at Malarappa's story. Intense story about Malarappa, man, what a hell of a being. Could change his body into snow leopards to live through the winter, lived in caves most of his life, finally broke away from this black guru, so to speak, and found the true master. And it's like, phew. I mean, just cool stuff. Spirituality is my cool. I suck it up like fresh grape juice. Yeah, because that's where your nectar is. That's where your survival is. That's where your power is, if you want to use that word. That's where it all is. The awareness. Everything down there, there's a lack thereof at one level or another. And there's a lot of levels of gurus. Sorry. Find him that I didn't want anything from him. I just want to find God. I had this dream. You have to become God. You can't find God. God isn't separate, like an old man big white beard sitting in a chair. You can't find God because you already are God. And the only way you know that is when you strip your duality from your awareness. You pull yourself into the presence. And that's happening more and more. And you see books, The Power of God. You see a lot of books, The Power of the Now, things like that coming out. Maintaining it as a trip is still surviving, like I said, because you have to survive in embodiments. So you have to learn how to be in the now and still run your bodies. And that's generally what you start working on, is how do I live in the now and still be able to function and have a smile and have fun. But detached fun. love the one you're with. Wasn't that Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young or Neil Young? I left my body and I was in my bedroom where I spent most of my time, and I was shown that this guru took all the light I was living in the darkness. Look at that. Pretty cool, huh? I also killed Big Black Spider in that dream. And after that, I saw a beautiful golden light coming to my bedroom. Is that cool? There's so many of these experiences, guys. There's so many of these experiences that you can have. It's beyond belief. But you have to start withdrawing your attention from that which is more solid to that which is not solid, right? You have to start caring about things of this world. Enjoy your fun, do whatever, but if that's your main focus, you're lost. Your desires bind you to the object of your desires. And you're trapped. That's a chain around your neck. And people have chains all over the place. Most humans are chained up bad. And as you take each chain off, the more free you feel, the more awareness you have. The more you put your binoculars down and start looking at what's out there, you become the watcher. And also the sun started shining through my window, so my room was full of light again. So that is external light. You have to be the light, internal and external. Matter of fact, when you give the light. You give the love is a form of giving the light, right? Exactly. Helping others with their health is a form of giving the light. You are now the giver. You don't need anything because you've got everything you need, because you are now the knower. The watcher becomes the knower as opposed to the thinker. It's great. Read books by J. Krishnamurti. You know, How to Break Thought. He was good at helping people how to break thought. And once you break thought, you're home. It's just a matter of levels now. A few days before, I also heard sound current. Yeah, the light and the sound. You know, a lot of teachings just teach the light, but oh no, there's the music of the spheres. There's the sound current. Yeah, as it's moving through you too. Holy crap. I am not sure what exactly that sound was. No, there's all levels. All levels, single note of the flute, to birds, to crickets, to all kinds of sounds within. That's the trouble. My sound is so loud within, it's hard for me to hear outwardly. My wife says sometimes, can you hear that? I said, hear what? The bird's over there. What kind of bird is that? I go, I got to try to stop listening so much inwardly and try to listen outwardly. Oh, here. But the description matched the sound Paul Twitchell described in his book. Yeah. Yep. Paul Twitchell, oh, jeez Christ, man, wrote a lot of incredible books about these different sounds, these different levels. You know, get a Paul Twitchell book and read them. In My Soul, I'm Free, The Tiger's Fang, The Far Country. It's a description of these worlds that exist, you know, but learn how to become the watcher. Twitchell was great at bilocation. Eckankar used to be called the science of bilocation years before it was Eckankar, really. But and that's the understanding that Paul Twitchell used to play out of his body with his sister at 3 years old, traveling and enjoying many lives and many areas of life. There's so much. You know, when you look at Earth, you got the big cities, you got the country, you got all that. Oh! Just the astral world alone is immense. So many beautiful places of color and jewels and light. At top of the astral world is the 1,000-petal lotus. That used to be a hanging place for me, a place I used to take Chilas to. Nirvanic is all get out. The yogas talk about the 1,000-petal lotus. Crown chakra, but that's just the beginning. Then you got the mental worlds beyond imagination. Sound woke up my soul, but my body was sleeping. Yeah, your body's always sleeping at one sense or another. I know because I had sleep paralysis. I know. And when you're out of your body, you try to move your body and it's not moving because you're not in your body. Oh, yeah. Oh, let me tell you. And that's one way to have an out-of-body experience. Lay there at night in your bed and picture yourself on the top of your ceiling looking down at your body. And just relax, but keep looking from up down at your body. Don't try to take your body with you. You have to learn how to break that hold that your awareness has on your body. Oh, this is becoming a spiritual discussion today, huh? Whoa. Love it. Yep. It was like a radio wave current. I was in the center of that sound. I knew that if I would focus my attention to that sound, I would be taken somewhere. You betcha. But I was so stupid that, no, come on. Listen, my first out-of-body experiences, I was so freaked out, I popped right back in. And then I wanted out. Freaky. Stupid that after a while I stopped it because I thought that it was another trick played by that dark guru I was listening back then. Well, like I said, and I've said this to all of you, you are the power. Break that thought, break creation, duality, and you are the power. No one can come into your space because you are that which is. And there's nothing more powerful than the all, is there? Totality. But it's a high level to be, but you can be and have that and still run your physical body. That's your journey. I've had to sit and work with humans for 50-some years, 54, 55 years after I came out of the woods, and work and help them and still try to maintain my awareness. Not easy. Being a clinician is not easy because a lot of you have a lot of emotions that you dump on us and a lot of problems that you dump on us, not intentionally, but just because you're sick, you don't feel good, and you're unaware of those things. And so we have a lot of negative energy dumped on us too from people that mean well, but they're so hurting so bad they don't realize it. And you, as a practitioner, have to go talk to the hand. You can't be pulled into their worlds. You can bring the light into their worlds if they're open up to it. If they don't open up to it, you can't help another. If you don't open up to a master, they're just going to turn and walk away. That sound and light I experienced when I started reading my first book from Paul Twitchell. God, I tell you, funny you should say that. That's when my world started changing too. The first book I read on Eckankar, oh my God, that night I was taken out, I pulled out of bed, I was put up somewhere, and then all my Akashic records, like films, just started going around and around like all my lifetimes, and I'm going, holy crap. And then this voice came to me and said, so you want to know God, huh? And then boom, it dropped me. Holy crap. I hit the bed, flew out of the bed onto the floor, and all I could go was, yeah, I do. It's crazy. My first book, that's how powerful these books from Paul Twitchell are. Start you on journeys, move your attention. I mean, it's cool stuff. Just beyond, I invite all the priests, rabbis, just read some books like that and open yourself up where you can help others understand the journey. Yeah, I know. I found Paul Twitchell thanks to you. Oh, you recommended his book. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, because nothing like it. Nothing like it, man. Anyway, my last question is about the Masters. I started reading another book called The Path of the Masters. Yep, that's a good book, I think. I don't know how much I've read of that one, though. And the author says that Chila in human body needs a master in a human body. Well, there is that said. So there's a said about having a living master, right? And that was a big thing. And it's always nice to have a present living master. Eckankar has one right now. I and a lot of people disagree with him being an master, but that's just the way some of us are. You have to make your own decisions with that. Harold Klimp, know him well, but we have our own takes on that. But you have access to all the masters. All you have to do is move your attention to that, and there's a lot of them. Rebizar Tars, Fubi Quants, Pedar Zask, there's Paul Twitchell, a lot of beings. There's Katadaki, the female Ekmaster. Oh, whoa! Watch her. Holy crap. There's a lot of female masters. There's a lot of masters. There's one that really looks like Jesus. He's so beautiful with the long blonde hair. Gopal Das. A lot of beautiful beings out there, more now than ever before, probably. But just there with their hand out, just beautiful beings. But you also are a beautiful being. Don't forget that. Each and every one of you are. Just because you get lost, you got bodies that are hurt, and that's why I'm here to help you get over this karmatic things where you can open yourself up more and more and more and more. It's all karma driven. And we're here to put our hand out and say, this is how you get rid of that. Right. Because only the master holds the key to open the door for you. You're your own door. But they do help you open that door. Right? But look at who did I just say? Helps you get over the mind. Anyway, he's a great being, master until himself. He's supposed to be master of all these chelas in India, and he said, nah, but I can help you look and see. A true master will never take on your karma, never take on any of that. No, but they'll show you and help you work it off at levels where it's not so dramatic. Some of this physical stuff can be very dramatic. So I have my own feeling about that. And there's plenty of masters that walk the earth. They call it the Mahanta, the blue light. They come as the blue light. Matter of fact, when Darwin Gross was a master after Twitchell, he basically brought Eckankar from the path of bilocation or from soul travel to the now. So anything by Darwin Gross is all about the now, right? And so when they took him out to see the Hopi elders looked at him and said, that's him. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. They gave Eckankar a whole bunch of land out there to put a healing center on it. I love the Hopi Indians. But they use the blue light, the blue star, as their inner masters. But that's the mental side of the master. The blue light comes out of the mental cosmic conscious worlds. But keep in mind, you also are the masters. The master is just someone who has let go, and their whole thing is God. They are God. And their whole thing, they are the light. They are the sound. They have no agenda other than being the light and the sound and the helping hand of that. Mm-hmm. He says that you can't have teachings with departed masters. Oh, crap, like Jesus. Well, I would think the I Am faith would disagree with you. The I Am faith works with Jesus, Saint Germain, Michael, all the ascended masters like that. I think they would disagree with this person. And you yourself can meet Jesus. You can meet all these beings if you want. Depends where they're at now. Or any master who left his physical body. Bull hockey. Bull hockey. This is the littlest world of them all, guys. All these other worlds are so huge. This is the physical worlds are the smallest, most inert. Twitchell liked it like the ash can of the universe, and I think most all masters would replicate that feeling. But yeah, don't let them stop you from being the most you can be, the most aware you can be. Don't let anyone say you have to have this because of this. You are the light. You are that which is. You just have to recognize it, and it can take a snap of a finger. Some of you know it can just take a gentle kiss, and you will awaken. They're just way showers, just like you guys. You're way showers. You're those that are working in the health fields, you're way showing. You're showing people. I come down here with a whole bunch of beings, and a lot of you are some of those beings. Remember? Master have to live now and bull hockey. To take you off that circle of reincarnation. Bull hockey. Take yourself off of it. You alone can't do it. Yeah. Those are the kind of beings. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. You go play in your old fields of dreams. I did not meet any real master. Most of them are on the dark side. Well, turn to the Eckmaster, sweetie. You already know about them. After spending a few years with the dark guru on this planet, I can recognize the fake gurus very quickly now. Good, see? And that's what it was for. Don't beat yourself up. Now you know. Yeah. To learn from the past. Yep, Dr. Robert Morse, I can't find a master that does initiation or darshan, but I want to thank you for your teachings. Maybe you pay a little more attention on the inner. We'll see about the initiations, dear one. You know, they are what they are, but you know what? You can receive initiations by opening your awareness up. Just keep watching. You are my guide. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. You show me the way. I feel your love and light shining. Oh, thank you, honey. I appreciate that. Love you too. Sometimes it gets so rough down here when you get a love letter like this. It's like, nice. I only have time for a few because I have a gentleman from Germany coming in to say hi. And I've got time for one more. Forgive me. You guys choke me up sometimes. Okay. The grounding. Height 5'3", no name, but 5'3", 109 pounds. Ooh, 48 years young. Blood pressure 107 over 64. So here again we got 107, which is low. 64, good blood pressure on the kidneys, but your adrenals are down. Pulse is 69. Okay. Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 1. Cancer. Lymphatic. Cancer, lymphatic. Lymphoma. Cancer, lymphatic. Right? You guys know by now that when everybody is diagnosed with cancer, they're diagnosed with lymphatic stagnation, which means your kidneys are not filtering, your skin probably is not sweating well, and everybody's staying home in chemistry. And that acid chemistry loves to blow back on cells and chew them up. Starts with making them atypical down to the degraded cell that they call cancer. Oh, it's a special cell that... No, it's not. My name is Sherry. I'm 48 years young. Good woman. Hodgkin's lymphoma stage 1. Diagnosed early May. 2 swollen lymph nodes in my neck. Ow, Lord. The largest is 3.5 centimeters. So again, I don't know if you have your tonsils or what, but you've got to go after your kidneys, sweetheart. And when you see that, you want to go all grapes, all raw, but go to the fruit and berry line and melons and stay there for about 6 months till they're all gone. right? Get the kidney formula or two, get a lymphatic formula, but go easy at first on the lymph system. You're not trying to hit it because the kidneys can't take it. You got to get those kidneys getting able to take it, and then you kind of get it more and more and more. And so that's why the power of the fruit is just can't be underestimated in doing this. I remember, what was his name? Oh, God. I don't think it was Buck. Anyway, he played with Earth, Wind, and Fire. He had 5,000 guitars. He had the original Lucia. I was telling you about him. What was his name? Came to me with 3 tumors on the neck. So I put him all on a fruit diet and all that, and 3 months later he had 2 gone. I think I told you about this, and 1 a little larger. And his sister was an RN. Guess who's not alive anymore? 2 tumors. I said, man, you have 2 tumors gone and 1 a little bigger. So what? She convinced him to go the medical route, and he doesn't live anymore. And he was famous guitarist. Buck, what was his name? Damn. Since a biopsy. Biopsy. Oh, no, honey. Late April, another teeny marble-sized lump has formed beside the incision scar. But of course, darling, beside the lump. Well, because they broke your lymph vessels, and that's why biopsies, forget it. You got a lump or a hump, you got lymph stagnation. Doesn't matter if your cancer cells in there, that's where they should be. You want your body to take these cancer cells out of tissue, or these cells have been degraded out of tissue, so they don't replicate themselves. Take them to either a stored pocket, which is a tumor, or to a where? Where's the common place that a degraded cell goes? Where? A lymph node. Oh, a lymph node. That's where you have macrophages, medical doctors. And what's a macrophage for? Absolutely, to break down that cell and go, there, out to the kidneys we go. Not the bacteria, the macrophage, right? What would the bacteria be for? The wastes, the byproducts from metabolism and respiration, kinetic activity, whatever. Lactic acid, uric acid, whatever. My naturopath told me to go back to eating meat. Whoa! I wasn't eating meat for about 6 years. Whoa! Well, Mr. Naturopath or Miss Naturopath, put down your degree and go dig ditches for a living because you are not very bright. If you don't understand the nature of protein, why are you a naturopath? The natural health people, the natural health field is really a meatless field. Naturopaths are not supposed to be eating meat, period. The holistic field is supposedly a non-meat eating field, but due to medical doctors, we now want grass-fed meat, organic beef. The natural health field is a field trying to get away from eating dead animals. You just must be a young one or something. Crazy. I juice carrots, celery, ginger, turmeric, and beets. Wrong. You're juicing vegetables, and you'll get nowhere with that. Beets are pretty strong on the kidneys, though. You want grapes and grape juice. You want your strong astringents. You want everything that turns things on. You won't do well with vegetables and getting rid of tumors. I drink 4 cups of veggies in a smoothie each day. No. That's why, I hate to say it, but and Wigmore's places are very not successful at removing tumors. Now, I had a counselor from one of Ann Wigmore will say, bring a young man to me. They'd been on a vegetable diet since they don't believe in fruit. Can't believe it, don't believe in fruit. Ignorance for frugivores, ignorance, nothing but ignorance. And then he had a big tumor on his neck. Had it for how many? He'd been there. How many? He'd been trying to work with him for 3 years or some bull crap like that. I had it gone in a month and a half. Yeah. Hippocrates. It's one thing to go there, you want to go on vegetables, you want to feel a little better, okay. You got serious tumors and stuff. Wrong place. Only eat mostly raw vegetables, fruits, water, and some meat. Wrong, wrong, wrong. And you'll keep those tumors on your neck, and then pretty soon it gets more invasive and more invasive because it's a lymph system. It's everywhere. If you think, this is the lymph system in your finger, imagine what it is in your brain, in your scalp, in your neck, in your face, in your eyes. No sugar or flour. So what? You need to step it up, sweetheart. Honey, you need to step it up another step. You need to go into the power, the raw power of the fruit. And if I'm you and I got tumors on my neck, knowing where that could lead me, you ever seen the medical profession cut out tumors on a neck? Your neck is half cut out, so you only have a neck half the size that you had before. Oh no, they're real sweet. Real cute looking, too. No. Don't even go there. You grab yourself on a grape diet right now and stay there for about 3 months. Or at least go back and forth between different types of fruit and stuff because you're on the wrong diet. And if you think eating meat or do anything but detox, the meat's what damages the kidneys in the first place. I mean, any naturopath that recommends meat is not a naturopath. They might call themselves a naturopath. They might have got a degree somewhere. But any naturopathic school claims that you need protein for life and health is not a good naturopathic school. Period. You go to a naturopath to not eat meat. Damn. I feel better since changing my diet to mostly veggies and fruit. Get rid of the veggies, sweetie. Get rid of the veggies. Symptoms were extreme fatigue, dizziness, yeah, cerebellum mastoid, yeah, thinning of the hair, yeah, that's all over the place. That means your brain's probably in. No. Don't take yourself down the rabbit hole any further. Pull yourself back up and ride your train to Wellville. And that train is a fruit, berries, and melon train, period. When you're feeling that dizziness and it's And now that they did a biopsy, good luck. You're in trouble even more now. Symptoms are dry, thinning hair, thinning eyebrows. No kidding, the whole face is up for grabs. Imagine getting a tumor on your nose and up in your palates. And then they start cutting you out. You can't imagine how bad it can get. You just see some of these people, the medical doctors, they put them on TV and advertising, quit smoking. Take a look at how the medical doctors have butchered them. And I mean butchered them. Intermittent fatigue, swollen lymph nodes in the neck. Oh yeah. And it's all on that one side, and the other side will come next. Everything when you got them on the neck, everything on this one side, whether it's right or left, is in trouble. Right side, your liver, everything else is in trouble. Your lungs. Oh yeah. I take supplements and drink lots of water. Okay. I've done a chlorine dioxide detox, which released parasites. Oh my God. Where are you from? I've tried ivermectin and pure gum spirits. I also use Rick Simpson's oil topically with DMSO. Nothing has reduced, thank you. Nothing has reduced the swelling of the lymph nodes or helped with the hair thinning. Of course not. All this is bull crap. All bull crap. You've got a whole system down, the lymphatic system. And your kidneys and your skin are your eliminative organs, and you've got to sweat and you've got to filter. Remember filtration of the kidneys? You don't do this, you're in trouble, honey. You can't get your kidneys filtering, you're in deep, deep trouble. This is the face. This is how you walk. This is how you see. This is how you think. And then everything on this side, from your lungs to your breast to your liver. I don't care who these people are. They don't understand the lymphatic system. They don't understand what cancer is. And the DMSO, ugh, did it though, I have to say. Nasty stuff. Did it. Years and years ago, about 35 years ago. I tried to take a picture of my eye with my phone, but it won't work. Can you make some suggestions, please? I really appreciate your help. Shali. Number 1, diet. Fruits, berries, and melons, predominantly grapes, the darker the better, and live on them, all right? Kidney formula, at least 1, if not 2. 1 lymphatic formula. Be easy at first. You want an endocrine gland formula because you want those adrenals, definitely, but you want your endocrinology up. If your nerve system's down, take nerve power. You want a GI tract formula, absolutely. I would hit my liver just a little bit since you've been on DMSO and those things. I would, clean my liver out a little bit, that sort of thing. And that would be at least the basic kit that I would go on. If you want a tea, get the Heal All tea. It's a detox tea. But that's where you want to go. You can't grab endless things because you have a whole system down and nothing cleans that system. You have to hydrate your body with hydrating foods that have astringent values. And you find that predominantly in your fruits, berries, and melons. Look at the testimonials. Go to GrapeGate. Touch in with our students and all the people there that have been successful with these things. I've never failed with tumors and cancers, what the medical doctors call as cancers, unless they're way too advanced. The medical doctors butchered them to the point that no one can help them. Now, when you're awake of a tumor, you find us, or you find these videos and you learn how you get tumors out. It's a lot easier when you haven't been biopsied, and a lot easier when they haven't broken more lymph vessels. Created more lymphedema in a person. It's a lot easier. Just get your kidneys filtering and watch the magic happen. But it is strict. But we are frugivores. We're not carnivores, Mr. Naturopath. I don't know why you'd even call yourself a naturopath if you believe in meat eating and protein consumption. Wrong.
No.
Just saying. Love you guys. Sometimes it gets me. But thanks for the spiritual letter. I love that. I get sometimes so focused in people's health and stuff that, But you guys you're it. There's no place else to look. You're the doorway. There's no doorway that you can find to go through. And a lot of people look, even out of body, they look all over the place. And there's only one doorway, and that's you. Love you guys.